Okay, it is Thanksgiving, and we're gonna talk about this new book I read called "You Are Worth It," obviously by Carpenter. Now we're gonna do a quick look. This is the back of the book. This is the front. Drastic changes. Now, Kyle Carpenter is the third United States Marine since Vietnam to be awarded the Medal of Honor. He is the second living Marine behind Dakota Meyer. The first Marine, Jason Dunham, was killed for jumping on top of a grenade. He is 1 year younger than Dakota Meyer. Okay, so he's he's the first man since Vietnam to survive jumping on top of a grenade. Now, he is very, very small compared to Dakota Meyer is 5'11", well over 200 pounds. He, in contrast, is 5'7", maybe 140 at most. Not a very large, intimidating person. Yet, for some reason, he was a squad gunner. That's normally the big guy's job. But anyway, he was enlisted in the 2-9, which is a Marine Corps unit that's only assembled for combat. They don't usually use them in peacetime. And they were sent to an Afghan village to protect the people. Now they're protecting the people in this village, which included women and children mostly, and the men, the husbands and the fathers from that very village had taken up arms with the Taliban and Al-Qaeda in the mountains and were harassing them. And seriously, some men were doing it willingly, some not so willingly. The Taliban had a tendency to brainwash people, if not brainwash them, flat out tell them, you fight with us or we kill your family. Very, very, very dangerous situation. He had several close calls. Some he's spoken about recently. One incident, he saw a chicken obliterated by a hand grenade. And I joked with him. I told him several times on social media. And I said, hey, sir, thank God you didn't make him that close to a grenade. Obviously, I was busting his balls. He's actually very humorous, believe it or not. And one incident he mentions in the book, he was shot, but the bullet didn't penetrate his body armor. Left a bruise, kind of like the guy that I shot that time. The bullet hit him in the abdomen. Yeah. One incident, he was in a hut and hit by a rocket, and he just walked right the fuck out. Now, the Marine Corps unit had a Navy corpsman with them. Now, the Marine Corps does not have a medical staff. Their entire medical staff comes to them from the Navy. Now, a Navy corpsman has to go through the Navy basic training, the Navy hospital corpsman schools, and all this medical stuff like that. And they usually have one of two choices. Do they want to be a Navy corpsman for the Navy, or do they want to be a Navy corpsman for the Marine Corps, which is often referred to as the Fleet Corpsman. Now, in order to become a Fleet Corpsman, the Navy Corpsman has to have written permission from a Marine officer, not a Navy officer. And they have to go through other specialized training regiments and courses in order to become a corpsman with the Marines. Now, the rule of thumb is if a Navy corpsman is serving with the Marine Corps, he has to be able to do every single thing that unit can do. If that unit knows how to work heavy machine guns, he knows how to work heavy machine guns. If that unit knows how to drive trucks, he knows how to drive trucks. If that unit knows how to parachute, he knows how to parachute. He has to be able to keep up with the entire unit, hook, line, and sinker, period. He has to be able to keep up with their physical fitness standards. He has to be able to keep up with their weapons qualifications. So the Marine Corps shooting courses are often harder than other branches. He has to qualify on the rifle at the same distance as the Marine. Okay? He has to do what they do. And the majority of the time, the hospital corpsmen will use heavy machine guns, rocket launchers. Okay? And they will be a shooter first, medical provider second. Now, his hospital corpsman was a man named Hospital Corpsman Friend, F-R-E-N-D. Not E-I-N-D or I-E-N-D, but Friend, F-R-E-N-D. Now, he talks a great deal about Corpsman Friend. He speaks more about him and more glowingly about him than any other character in the book, aside from his own mother, probably. And they also talk about how they insulate him. There were several occasions where he would tell Corpsman Friend, I'm going to go first, you're going to get behind me. Because if you get hurt, I can't help you. If I get hurt, you can't help me. Because don't forget, the Navy corpsman has been through the medical schools. The Marines know a little bit of first aid, but the corpsman has been through the medical schools. And if you ever see the Marine Force Recon, corpsmen that work with them, they're almost like doctors. Marcus Luttrell went to the same medical school that Green Beret medics go through, Delta Force medics go through, Marine Force Recon medics go through. They are literally one step below a doctor, those corpsmen. So they can get some pretty extensive training. And they will insulate the corpsman because if someone gets shot, he has all the shit and knows how to use it. And one example of that is when, on the day in question, he's on top of a building. And when I say building, I mean mud and brick building that is well over 100 years old. In a village that is probably older than Christ. Very old village. Old customs. They have no sense of the modern world. And they're in this building. They're on the roof providing overwatch. And they say, we should get another rifle. And he goes down and tells Corpsman Friend, give me your rifle. And the team leader said, no, he might need it. Take mine instead. So the team leader would rather give up his own rifle than watch the corpsman give up his. And the corpsman is inside the building while they're outside, up top, and yeah. Now, what happened was he remembers distinctly telling his friend Nick. What if I were to, he said, what if a grenade comes flying over here? And Nick said, I'm going to get the fuck off this roof. And he said, I'm right behind you. And literally within 2 minutes of that conversation, the next thing he remembers is not being able to see, not being able to hear, having a hard time breathing. He didn't feel any pain, but he was covered in blood. Corpsman runs upstairs, sees that Nick has a piece of shrapnel on his head, gives him his full attention, and they take Nick off the roof. He turns around and he sees Kyle Carpenter face down on the roof. I think, alright, get the body out of here. He rolls him over. The body is smoking. He's trying to breathe. He's still alive. He is seeing a person who was literally jumped on a hand grenade, breathing. And he's the first person to see this since before he was born. No one has seen it before then, since Vietnam, and no one has seen it since. And his jaw was ripped in half entirely. His teeth were blown, and they were in his mouth. And he was afraid if he laid him down on his back, he would choke on his own teeth. The blood was so intense that it looked like someone poured a bucket of red water on him. And they called for what they call medical evacuation. Now, out there you had Army medical evacuation, Air Force medical evacuation, and British Army medical evacuation. And by a miracle of God, there was an Air Force medical evacuation helicopter less than 15 minutes away. And he tried to put a tourniquet on him, and he tried to shoot him morphine. He almost had to give him a tracheectomy. He was thinking about taking out his pocket knife and giving him a tracheectomy right there on the roof. He didn't do it though, thank God. He gave him the morphine. Now we're gonna stop. Months ago, hear me out. Months ago, I was at my area, and we had been doing construction for over a month. They're doing the pipes. They're digging the ground, take the pipes up. I have the roads closed. I have cops there. And there's a cop on the sidewalk with his car waiting for the order to close the road. The team leader drives up in a Caterpillar backhoe and says, tell your partner to meet me up there. Up the hill, over the block away, we're going to do that street. So I go and I tell him, listen man, the foreman just told me to tell you you're going to go over there. You're not going to go with me today. Okay. Cop goes, he pulls away, stops at the red light, lets me move pedestrians. I think he's going there. Goes across the street, up the hill, stops, and I'm thinking this car will be parked, this guy broke down. Next thing I know, the guy in the car, the driver, is on his hands and knees at the top of the hill. Fuck. I'm thinking heart attack, whatever the hell. Breathing problems, I don't know. I close the road. Go the next block over. Go, roads closed, go. Other cop arrives, sees me. I say, go to your partner, go up the hill. Woman comes over. I tell her, go. She turns into me, which I now consider a threat. And I bend down, what the hell are you doing? It was one of my own mothers. Right before you get to the top of the hill, there's a parking lot, very small parking lot for her apartment building. We let them in. If you gotta park in the parking lot here, if you're not going past the scene of the emergency, fine. So I let her up. The wind-up was the guy was on PCP driving, got in an ambulance, got him to the hospital, punched a security guard in the face, got charged with that. Now, the next day I see this woman again, and I nearly got on my knees to apologize to her. It's okay, I feel so guilty because I yelled at her. I didn't know it was her. Now, Friday, I read this book Saturday. This past Friday, I have a truck backing up in front of the bar. He and his passenger are going to unload, tractor trailer, are going to unload drinks, soda and stuff for one of the stores. But they're pulling in front of the bar. This same woman has her 90-plus-year-old grandmother with her, holding on to her, and I have to go out, block for them, and I wave at the truck driver, don't come forward, because I got, okay, we're cool. And I walk over, and I accidentally step on her back of her foot, and her foot comes out of her shoe. I bend down, pick the shoe up, hand it to the granddaughter. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I'm so sorry. I felt very bad. Now, Corman friend over here had given Kyle Carpenter a shot of morphine. The morphine needle got caught up in the bandages, and he didn't get it. I'm not a big medical guy. The doctors later on told them all that that shot of morphine would have killed him. The corpsman bandaged him up as best he could, saved his life, but if that shot of morphine did not get stuck in the bandages, it would have killed him. So I don't feel that bad anymore about yelling at the wrong person or stepping in his fucking boot. So now the medical copter comes, and they have the pararescue men in there. Now the pararescue men are Air Force Special Forces guys. During peacetime, they work with the Coast Guard. You probably seen a hurricane sites. You ever see a hurricane, and you see the line drop down with a guy riding a hoist, and he picks the people up, puts them on the hoist, gets them up. That's either a Coast Guard aviation survival technician or an Air Force pararescue man. Now the Air Force pararescuemen, they can lower themselves by harness, put the person in harness, get them up. They can jump out of the copter into the water in the middle of a hurricane. They did a lot of downed pilots in Vietnam. They can be lowered down by hoist in the middle of an active combat zone to drag away injured men. Okay, they sometimes have to actually use their weapon to repel the enemy as they're trying to drag the people away. Okay, and they are also full-fledged paramedics. Now their motto is, these things we do that others may live. Now, thank God that the team is able to surround the area. Copter lands, no jumping out of copters and flying across, no. Copter lands, pararescueman gets out, hands him off. So the corpsman treated him at the scene, pararescueman treated him in the air. They brought him to the field hospital, the American field hospital, where the doctors were, and then from he went to other hospitals in Germany and the United States. He speaks very bluntly about psychological problems. He was hallucinating. Between the head injuries, the medication, the depression, he suffered some hallucinations. One hallucination is his father, yeah, I had a dream. And wake up and you're like, oh man, I gotta go to jail today. Oh wait, that was a dream. Okay, it takes you maybe a minute to realize that you're back in the real world. He had a dream where the hospital, his family couldn't pay the medical bills, which the jokers, the Department of Defense picks the medical bills. But his father, in the dream, took up a bunch of guns, went to the hospital, took hostages, and was killed by the SWAT team. Now, because of the medication, the head injury, it took him a while to realize that that was not a dream. So he was sitting in his hospital bed, fully awake, saying, how is dad still alive after being shot at the SWAT team? Another hallucination he had was his arms and legs were missing, and they put wooden planks on, kind of like the guy in Family Guy. Yeah, that motherfucker. They were one step away from amputating his right arm, but they didn't. The doctor came in and said, I'm going to take that arm. And he did. He's right-handed. Now, he writes with his left hand. Allow me to explain. That was part of a thing he did in New York City. There was a video I saw. It took me about 2 weeks to get the book. I got the book 2 weeks ago. I got around to reading it last Saturday. I had ordered it 2 weeks before that. Yes. What happened was, I saw 2 videos. One video I saw a week before it came in. He had these sheets. That's what they call a sticker card. A lot of guys will sign the sticker card, and their assistant will put it in the book. Very informal. He was at his house, sitting down watching TV, and the sticker cards come in big sheets this big. And he's signing thousands of sticker cards, thousands of them, with his hand, his left hand. And prior to that, I saw he was in New York City, not a public event, it was mostly behind the scenes at the publisher or at the recording studio or at the TV station, the radio station. He wasn't really out in public, out in the open. Otherwise, I would have down and met him. And I ordered the book on the website that was associated with that event. And this video of him, sped up for time. He signed 300 books in a single sitting, including this one. So even though this is a sticker card, the sticker card was in the book, and he signed the book. So he did handle this book himself, as opposed to some guy that signed the sticker card and their assistant takes it and puts it in the book real cheap. Now, they said, do you want to have a message written to you or any special instructions? And I said, you can make it at the Vinny. Now, the last time I did that, one of those things, was 2017 on Shannon Miller's page. I went on Shannon Miller's page, and because I had no idea how many Vinnies she had, I specified it's for our birthday. And sure enough, she remembered to write to Vinny, happy birthday. Okay. Now I said, can you please write to Vinny in the little instruction thing. He did not. Here's the issue. He had over 300 books to sign then and there. Plus, he's signing thousands of these. You can go on his Facebook, his Twitter, if you weren't banned by Twitter yet, his Instagram, and you can look for events. He's doing some public events in other places. Not by me, obviously, right? He's doing mail orders, okay? He's doing this. He's going to be into this for a while. So you can go on, find it, you can get your own copy. His social media handle is Chicks, CHIKSDIGSCARS. Chicks Dig Scars. The Simpsons episode where Bart jumps the gorge, the stuntman that inspired Bart, he said Chicks Dig Scars. And that's where he gets the name from. Okay, he's Chicks Dig Scars. He is verified. Okay? And that's it in a nutshell. Trust me when I tell you, it's a good book. It's 308 pages long. I read it in 2 sittings. I usually read books in 2 days, but lately I've been reading books in 1 day. I sat down after breakfast, started reading. I read a little more than half the book, had lunch, sat back down, read the rest. Okay? It is a very, very, very good book. Okay? And he's very thankful to God. He did have a lot of psychological problems because he's fucked up. You know, you can see his face. He's missing an eye. Okay? All his teeth are implants. Okay? His arm looks like melted shit. Okay? He's not exactly a perfect picture of health anymore. He could, today's Thanksgiving. I eat turkey every year. This was on November 1st. No, this was November 21st. He couldn't eat for months. He had to take a swallow test to swallow water. He was being fed intravenously into a colostomy bag because he couldn't get stuff past his throat. He had to learn how to swallow. He had to learn how to chew. He had to learn how to drive all over again. He had to learn how to walk. One day it took him 20 minutes to put his socks on. Yeah, he sat down to put his socks on by himself. It took him 20 minutes. Okay? He has a lot of problems physically and psychologically. But he wants you to hear his story, and he wants you to understand how thankful he is to God, how thankful he is to his teammates, his corpsmen, the air crew, the hospital staff, all those guys that helped him. Okay? And he is a very, very modest and humble person. Okay? And he's very, very polite. I talked to him several times. Okay? He's very funny. He's able to take a couple jokes. One incident where he was playing with his little cousin on the ground, and they're playing by the dirt. And I said, "So you gotta be careful. If you have a cut on your face, the dirt can get inside the cut." Here's the thing with that. When the grenade went off, the sandbags blew open. His face got cuts. The mud went inside his face, and his skin healed over that, and he had mud in his face visibly for months. And the mud eventually worked its way out. And it's okay. And there are several pictures in here that are very graphic. Okay, there's some pictures that I've never been seen before. They are very nasty looking. Okay, so it's not a book for little kids to read, but it is a book that inspires. He meets homeless people. He meets gang members. He meets people all across his life. He's like, enjoy life. Okay, he understands how precious life is. Okay, first person since the 1960s to survive jumping on top of a hand grenade. Okay, all the other guys are dead. Jason Dunham's dead. Michael Mansour is dead. Okay, those guys are dead. So he understands how lucky he is. And I put a question in a while ago. I don't think he got back to me on it, but I put a question in a while ago. What if you wimped out and your friend died? You escaped unscathed with a flawless body, but your friend died because you chickened out. How would that be to live with? He has to live looking like this the rest of his life. One eye, okay, fake teeth, scars, okay, he's covered in scars. But he understands that even though he lives with that body, his friend is still alive. It cost him that body to save his friend's life. Now today is Thanksgiving, and there are 2 points I want to close with. First and foremost, there is Olympic gymnast from 1984, Julianne McNamara. 2016, they had a reception for all past Olympic gold medal recipients, and they announced Julianne McNamara. Then the entire Magnificent Seven came out, and Julianne McNamara was next to Dominic Moceanu. Now, McNamara's sister is on social media. Her daughter is on a show called This Is Us. That's her daughter. And her niece is a model. Very, very nice ladies. Her mother died Wednesday. Her father died several years ago. Her niece was just beside herself, devastated. And her mother just passed away Wednesday. Now, I never talked to Julianne because she's not on social media. I talked to her sister, her niece, her daughter. They're very, very nice people. And we're sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner in my country. And while you guys are doing Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales and all the bullshit, they're doing a funeral. They have to have a funeral for this woman right after Thanksgiving. So just think about that for a minute. You might not get the sale you want. The TV might be sold out when you get to the store. Okay? You might only get a 10% discount on a new item. Only does me a 20% discount. But think about that for a minute. Also, the mother died Tuesday night. The mother died Tuesday night. Now, Wednesday morning, I saved the boy's life. Okay, junior high school kid. Now, I'm on one side of the road. He's coming on the other side of the road. This is green. Sometimes I'll flash stop and walk across the road on a green light to get to the kid. I can't always do that. It's dangerous, but I can't always do it. So on this side of the road, I got the stop sign tucked under me. This hand, my dominant hand, my left hand, point, wave, okay, make sure he's seen. Car's coming. Over 40 miles an hour. No, he's coming, and you can tell that in the 30-mile-an-hour zone, he's doing about 40. Left turn signal on. He's gonna turn and kill this kid. The hand. Take the hand. Put the hand in front of his windshield. Sometimes you guys get pissed. And if the guy can't make the turn because I'm blocking for pedestrians, he gets mad and goes straight. This guy's coming pretty goddamn fast. Hand goes in front of the windshield. He realizes that I'm not in the mood to make his turn. He might not see the kid coming into the road, but he sees me right in front of him. He knows I don't want to turn. He gets pissed off, goes around, and goes forward. Almost fractures my hand. My hand cam knuckles being fractured. Boom. Am I gonna have a fractured hand for Thanksgiving dinner? Or am I gonna tell the woman her son is dead? Oh well. So, that was saved. Shit happens. But, that's what's gonna happen. He's coming forward, hands over here, jams the brake, goes around the hand, and goes forward. He knows he's not making a turn without me here. And then, what would have came next? You know what would have came next? I would have dove in front of the fucking car. If I got a kid in the road, and you're making that turn, I tell you to stop. You don't stop, I'm in front of the fucking car. So I would have literally dove in front of the fucking car. It is what it is. Happy Thanksgiving.